Hi there, everybody. We are popping in for a ad hoc reading just because I felt like I needed to sit down and see if any messages come through. So this reading is for ever who, might be watching it. If you happen to be watching it for the first time or you've just come across it, very welcome. My name's Shereen. And if you have watched my videos before, welcome back. These are ad hoc videos that I do whenever I feel called to do them, and they will hopefully have a message for whoever's watching it. All right. If you find that it's not speaking to you, please leave it behind for whoever's meant to hear it. They won't always have a message for you every time if you do watch many of these readings. Okay, so today I'm going to be using the Akashic Tarot, which I usually use as a companion to my Akashic Records readings. Then we're using Healing with the Angels and Mermaids and Dolphins. So it's all Oracle today. That's what I was kind of drawn to use, and we're going to see what comes up. All right, so let's see if there's a message for somebody here. All right, what do we want to talk about today, please? Oh, the Akashic Library. Okay, so maybe for one of you, an Akashic Records reading wouldn't be a bad idea. If you are interested, I do private readings. I'm just mentioning this particular reading now because it's come up. And what I do personally for an Akashic Records reading is I ask what is most important for you to know right now. So I don't typically work on specific questions, and I find that that is the best way to do it, all right? The Akashic Library also talks about us delving into the Akasha, which is basically a inventory or a database of everything that has passed and everything that is possible, or anything that you're currently going through, and it can be a very personal journey for us. And you can have many Akashic Records readings in your lifetime because it will pull through whatever's most important or what you're dealing with at that particular time. So you could do it periodically during your life and have a different message every time because you've got different circumstances that you're dealing with. Okay, and this is also a reminder for you to write your own story, to write your own intentions into the Akashic Record. You see how he's writing in the book here? He's saying, what do I want my life to look like? What opportunities do I want to attract? It's giving us a message and a reminder that we do have some kind of autonomy on what we do plant into our Akashic Records, and that every moment, every thought, and every deed has a bearing on what we're going to reap in the future. So don't forget that. Don't forget to create with joy, to speak with love, because those are the things that you want to reap in the future. Whatever you're giving off is what's going to eventually be something that you deal with further on down the line. Okay, what else do we need to know or talk about today, please? Whoa, almost escaped. Paths unknown. Okay, let me just see what else comes up. I'll show you that card in a minute. So this is about choices and okay, there's somebody here that feels like they're stuck. All right, and it could even be that there are other people that are involved here or are influencing the situation. I've, funny enough, got something similar that I'm dealing with. Luckily, they're not friends or family members or anything. But this is interesting because I've just literally had a discussion about a situation similar for myself. All right, so there is this choice to be made, and the paths unknown shows a path that is quite dark where we're not sure, whether we should look at that path, because it often talks about things from the past that we don't want to reflect on, or we try and avoid it. It might be something about an ex or a job we had that we hated that was very toxic, whatever the circumstances might be. This is making reference to something from the past that we don't really want to look at, okay? But it encourages us to do so, because by looking at the past, we can learn a lot about how we want to live our future. And it's saying, which path are you going to take? You could take the path that's the middle ground, that is very well known to you, very well lit, but that's predictable. That doesn't offer anything new. All right, so you need to be willing to step into the unknown, to move forward in different ways, and to also not be afraid to look at the past and say, okay, what can I do differently that can take me in a different direction. If we want different things to come into our lives, especially if they're negative experiences, we need to, make a choice to have those different results. So this is talking about us feeling a lack in our wish fulfillment. Okay, I don't usually read reversals, but this has come up reversed, and so is this. Like, we can't get started with something, we can't birth something. All right, it could be a project, it could be just getting onto the path of finding our stability, whatever this might be for you. And it's also the initiation and the Count Saint Germain has come up upside down. All right, and this is talking about you being ready for some kind of initiation, moving into a different state of being. Maybe there is something that you've really wanted to do or move towards or take on, and something here stunting your growth. And the chess games come up. This is about people who are, there's a lot of politics going around. There could be somebody who's doing things for their own agendas here, and you kind of being roped into it, maybe coerced into picking sides. Very innocently, hint, hint, nudge, nudge. What do you think about that? And the minute you voice your opinion, it by default kind of puts you on somebody's side. So be very careful of this, because this is about a calculated game that someone's playing that might only be there to serve themselves. All right, and you don't want to get yourself stuck in that. Distance yourself from it. Okay, get off the chessboard and be a observer of the situation as opposed to a victim of the situation, because this is blocking your opportunities. Don't allow someone to have that kind of power. Don't allow them to block your abundance, block you being able to start something or move in a different direction or birth a project or whatever it is that you want to work on, and particularly not your spiritual growth, because this is what this represents. Okay, let's ask for some advice from the Healing with the Angel cards. I have pre-shuffled all of these, but I will do one more just so that we have fresh energy. Okay. Can I please see if there's any information or advice coming from the Healing with the Angels? Thank you. Focus. Okay, get really clear on what you want and get focused on, I feel like, trusting your gut instinct. Don't let all of this stuff and everybody else's moves and strategies throw you off course. Okay, focus, stay clear on what it is that you want, where you need to move forward to. Like I said, be in this place where you know that you can write your own story. Keep your focus on what is for your highest good, what you need to be doing for yourself. That is the path that you should be taking. Maybe not the one that's predictable. And I feel like delving into creativity of some sort will help with this. This shows that the abundance is coming. Okay, if we make the right choice, we follow our heart. It's maybe not always the easiest choice. It may not be making you the most popular person, but as I say, at least once a week, your life is not a popularity contest. You're not here to please anybody else. That's not going to get you where you want to be, especially with your own personal spiritual journey. All right, you're not here to live to the dictates of others or live through others or on behalf of others or to please others. Okay, and that's a very hard thing to do, especially when we are on a spiritual path. One of the most difficult things to do is to stand up for ourselves, to not do other things to just please everybody else around us. That is not an easy thing to do, especially when it's friends and family and they have an expectation of you, or we've always done it this way. Do it that way. That's how it's always been done. You don't have to do that. Okay, don't let anybody tell you you have to do that. I think that's all the cards from this deck. I don't know if there's anything else. I don't feel like... Yeah, okay. Thank you. And then we're going to take from mermaids and dolphins and see what advice there is here. Let's have a quick look. So abundance, especially if you make that choice to step away from the situation, that will put all of these cards in reverse. It will put you back in a place when you're on the right path, you're on your own path. It'll put you in a place where you can birth whatever it is that you want to birth. It puts you in a place where you do have wish fulfillment. And this shows every form of abundance. There's wine and food and money and keys and this expanse of land and beautiful lakes and stuff in the distance, There There's nothing that there's any shortage of here. And that's what you could do. You could turn the situation around just by honoring yourself, making some self-honoring choices. All right, follow your gut instinct, and it will usually mean that you need to do something for you. That's what's going to open abundance. Focus. Don't get pulled in different directions here. All right, what advice from mermaids and dolphins, please? Synchronicity. Your prayers and questions are being answered by synchronistic events. Notice them in order to increase their flow. Okay, so follow what is working for you. Count your wins and not your losses. Look at where things are flowing, not where there's resistance. If there's resistance, move away from it. Anything else, please? Here it comes. Let yourself receive. Okay, that's wonderful. You know, if nothing else, that's the choice you need to make. You need to say, I choose to let myself receive. I do not choose to have my abundance blocked, to have what I want to start or initiate blocked, to have my spiritual growth blocked because of things that are happening around me and other people's agendas. I choose to let myself receive. Even if it's letting someone make you a cup of coffee. Look where people are actually giving and not giving with the wrong ulterior motives, okay? Allow others to give you loving care. Receive without guilt or apologies. That can be a difficult thing for some people to do. It's something I struggled with in my life. And if you're not willing to let yourself receive, you are blocking your own abundance. Because only by being in a state of receptivity can you receive that abundance. Okay, therein lies the secret. Anything else, please? I think that's it. Yep. Okay. Alchemy, you have the Midas touch right now, and every project you begin turns to gold. Don't let anybody tell you any different. Okay? Begin your project. Do your thing. If they're naysayers, that's fine. They're not living your life. You are. Okay, and I leave you with that message. I will see you when I see you, whenever I get called to do one of these again. And I wish you a beautiful weekend if we don't speak before Monday. All right, take care. Much love.